At the end of every harvest, a small farming village faces the same struggle. They have produced a massive surplus of fruit, but with no way to process or transport it quickly, the crop sits in the sun until it rots. The components of a solution are already present. The village has the raw fruit, a workforce ready to be employed, and modest community savings. In economics, these are the factors of production: land, the fruit; labor, the workers; and capital, the savings. But without a specific force to organize them, these resources drift apart and stay disconnected, leaving workers idle and fruit to spoil. Activating these idle resources requires an entrepreneur. This is the individual who spots the wasted potential and steps in to coordinate effects. Entrepreneurship is the specific act of taking a calculated risk to bridge the gap between a raw idea and a finished product. This process involves launching a startup or a new venture based on an innovation, like a local cannery, guided by a long-term vision for the village's growth. By making the decision to invest time and money, the entrepreneur connects land, labor, capital, and technology. They turn a collection of separate parts into a functioning system that actually solves the community's problem. There is a common assumption that starting a business requires a massive fortune. However, many successful ventures begin with small personal savings or modest loans rather than deep pockets. We also tend to associate entrepreneurship only with massive global tech firms, yet the same coordination happens in every local shop and service provider in your neighborhood. It is also easy to assume that the only reason anyone takes these risks is to maximize personal profit. While earnings matter, the real drive often comes from a desire for independence, personal fulfillment, or a commitment to fixing a specific problem that affects the local community. You can see this orchestration at work even on a small artisanal scale. A local weaver or craftsman identifies a market need, like durable storage, and risks their time to design a product that people will actually use. They combine natural materials, or land, with specialized human capital and basic tools. By managing the daily operations and making key design choices, the artisan acts as the primary orchestrator, taking low-value raw inputs and turning them into useful, higher-value goods for the market. Entrepreneurship also functions on a national level, as seen in the career of Jahangir Ratanji Dadabhoy Tata. Tata's leadership was defined by a specific patriotic goal: to build a modern, self-reliant, and industrialized India. He took significant risks to coordinate massive amounts of capital and labor to launch the country's first airline in 1932. He scaled this model of coordination across multiple industries, expanding into steel production, power generation, and chemical manufacturing. This level of organization creates thousands of jobs and supports entire local economies, which earned Tata the Bharat Ratna for his service to the nation. The entrepreneur's core role in the economy is to absorb risk in order to provide solutions. They fulfill this role by deliberately pulling together the factors of production: land, labor, capital, and technology. Without this active organizer, those factors sit idle, full of potential, but essentially unproductive. Look at your own community or school. Is there a specific point of friction or a problem that no one has addressed yet? If you were to design a startup to fix it, which factors of production would you need to gather? Who provides the labor, and what tools or capital would be necessary? Think about what would drive you to take that risk. Is it the potential for profit, or the satisfaction of seeing a community problem disappear? These skills, risk assessment and resource coordination, apply to any career you choose. They are the tools you use to manage any project successfully. Learning to think like an entrepreneur gives you a framework for action. It allows you to move past just recognizing a problem and gives you the strategy to organize the resources to solve it.